Hi guys, in this video we're gonna do the definition of cirrhosis, the causes of cirrhosis, the pathogenesis, the symptoms, the diagnosis, treatment, complications, everything about cirrhosis. So let's start. Any inflammation or damage can cause cirrhosis. It is characterized by fibrosis and the hyperplastic nodules. The fibrosis is the bridging type, that means that the scars link the portal tracts with each other and the portal tracts with the terminal veins. And the hyperplastic nodules are formed by the colonies of proliferating hepatocytes which are encircled by these fibrosis. You can see here in this picture, these are the colonies of regenerating hepatocytes which are surrounded by these collagen fibers. So these fibroses and the colonies of regenerating hepatocytes as a whole, they form nodules, and these nodules are visible morphologically as well. Here you can see these are the nodules of these are the hyperplastic nodules of the regenerating hepatocytes and the fibrosis, and this leads to the disruption of the normal parenchyma. The most common cause of this is viral hepatitis, the chronic hepatitis, hepatitis B and C, and other most common cause is alcoholic hepatitis, which is more common in waste due to more alcohol consumption. The other causes are biliary disease, autoimmune hepatitis, hemochromatosis, Wilson's disease, and alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. Other than that, there is another other type which in which the cause is not clear, and the cause is cryptogenic cirrhosis. The pathogenesis, the pathology behind is here you can see is the normal internal structure of the liver, the part of the internal structure of the liver in which hepatocytes are seen, the bile canaliculi. These are the portal vein and the hepatic artery enter the hepatocyte, enter the liver into the sinusoids, and which ends into the central vein or the terminal vein. The space between the hepatocytes and the sinusoids is called perisinusoidal space, or also known as space of Dizzy. In this space, there are some spatial cells, and these are the star-shaped and so-called stellate cells. In the normal liver, they remain quiescent, that is, they remain inactive, and they store vitamin A, and their functions they function in wound healing purpose. But when there is an injury, there is any alcoholic hepatitis or viral hepatitis, any of the cause which I mentioned just earlier, these Kupffer cells secrete cytokines, and these cytokines stimulate the stellate cells and cause the hepatocyte dysfunction and the death. And this hepatocyte dysfunction also activates the stellate cells. So these stellate cells are now activated, and these activated stellate cells secrete TGF-beta and produce collagen. And more collagen is deposited in the perisinusoidal space, and these cytokines further promote the production of these collagen fibers, and these collagen fibers then cause the fibrosis of the liver. And this fibrosis, and since our liver has the regenerative capacity, these hepatocytes undergoes regeneration, and this fibrosis surrounds those regenerating hepatocytes, and they form the nodules. So the fibrosis and the regenerating nodules, they cause cirrhosis. As the further collagen is deposited in the perisinusoidal space, they compress these sinusoids, and they cause the pressure inside the sinusoids is increased, and this pressure inside the sinusoids leads to the portal hypertension, which is the first and the main complication of cirrhosis, the portal hypertension. And due to the increased pressure, the fluid leaks outside, and this fluid moves into the peritoneal cavity and cause ascites, another complication of cirrhosis. And due to this portal hypertension, the blood in the portal circulation is shifted towards the systemic circulation, bypassing the liver and directly going into the heart, and we call it as a portosystemic shunt. And due to this, there's a vasoconstriction in the renal arteries, and so there will be less blood supply to the kidneys, and ultimately leads to the hepatorenal syndrome, another complication of the cirrhosis. And due to this increased pressure, there is a backward flow of this blood into the spleen, causing the congestive splenomegaly, another complication of cirrhosis. And since there is a hepatocyte dysfunction, the decreased liver functions cause a lot of symptoms and other complications of cirrhosis. So these are the main complications of cirrhosis, and the pathogenesis was this activation of stellate cells, causing the production of collagen fibers and the regenerative nodules. The symptoms, the clinical features are classified according to the child pug into three classes: well compensated, partially compensated, and the decompensated. In class A, that is well compensated, there is some fibrosis and liver still performs its function, so the patient is usually asymptomatic. In the partially symptomatic, there is some more fibrosis and the patient presents with non-specific symptoms such as anorexia, weight loss, fatigue, weakness, and the non-specific ones. And in the decompensated, the patient is actually symptomatic because there's an extensive fibrosis and liver cannot perform its functions. So due to the dysfunction of liver, the patient is symptomatic. Our liver performs so many functions such as detoxification, bilirubin conjugation, albumin production, estrogen metabolism, clotting factor production, and many others. But these are the they all functions are lost or decreased due to decreased detoxification. The toxins such as ammonia goes into the brain, causing the hepatic encephalopathy and coma. And it can also cause the asterixis, which are the flapping hand tremors. Due to decreased bilirubin conjugation, there will be more unconjugated bilirubin, which can cause jaundice. And if the jaundice persists for a longer period, it can cause pruritus. The pruritus is an itching of the skin, and when the itching occurs on the skin, the patient usually scratches the skin. And if the patient scratches again and again and scratches for a longer time, it can lead to the bacterial infections. And this albumin production, when the albumin production is decreased, the hypoalbuminemia leads to the edema, a condition known as fetal hepaticus. Liver performs estrogen metabolism, and the estrogen metabolites are then excreted. But when there is a decreased estrogen metabolism, that more estrogen is there's an increased estrogen in the blood, which causes gynecomastia and the testicular atrophy in males. And it can also cause spider angiomata and the palmar erythema. Palmar erythema is the redness of palms of the hands, and spider angiomata is angio is a blood vessel and oma is a swelling. So they are the swollen blood vessels which are under the surface of skin. They radiate like a spider web. So we call them spider angiomata. So these three are the symptoms which are produced due to the decreased estrogen metabolism. Since clotting factors are not produced, there will be coagulation issues and easy bruising. So these all symptoms are produced in the decompensated cirrhosis. The diagnosis, liver biopsy is the gold standard, which tells us the severity and the type of the liver disease. And other than that, we do the lab tests such as LFTs, serum electrolytes, serum creatinine, and CBC. In LFTs, we see increased bilirubin, increased aminotransferases such as ALT, AST, and ALP, and the increased prothrombin time. This is due to the decreased coagulation factors. The serum electrolytes, there is a decreased sodium level, that is hyponatremia, and the serum creatinine concentration is increased for more than 130 micromole per liter. And in CBC, we see pancytopenia, that is all the cells are decreased. The anemia, leukopenia, and the thrombocytopenia occurs. Other than that, we do tests to exclude the cause of disease, such as viral markers to exclude hepatitis B and C, serum autoantibodies and IgGs for autoimmune disease. For hemochromatosis, we do iron profile and ferritin, and for Wilson's disease, we offer the copper and the ceruloplasmin levels and the alpha-1 antitrypsin levels to exclude the alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So we do these tests to exclude the cause, and we do these tests to assess the function of the liver. And liver biopsy, the gold standard. For the treatment, usually this cirrhosis is usually irreversible, and what we can do is to prevent the further damage. We can prevent the further damage by treating the underlying cause, such as if the cause is viral hepatitis, we can treat them with antiviral therapy. And if the cause is alcohol, we can just suggest patient to stop consuming alcohol. And last but not the least, the last option we have is liver transplantation. If you have any query, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much for your patience. Please subscribe. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon.